Okay, bear with me here. I find it hard to call Mizu a female character, a strong female character, because there is so little femininity in her character. For intents and purposes, she is a man for most of the story. She lives in the masculine, and she's already a really good one. But essentially, think about it like this: her parallels of characters that I like her are less Sarah Connor and Vi from Arcane, and more the Batman, the Punisher. Even in this story, you can see how she differentiates from the other characters that I would also consider to be strong female characters, great, very well written female characters like Princess Akemi, who is trying to find her place and trying to understand exactly how to get what she wants in this male-dominated world as a princess and as a woman. Or Madame Kaji, who has learned to use her femininity to manipulate the men around her and is also teaching other women how to do the exact same thing. The kind of empowerment. Mizu, on the other hand, because she has left her femininity behind, has nothing truly feminine about her character for most of the story until you get to the very special episode, the top-rated episode on IMDb, in fact, The Ronin and the Bride. And that's because the story introduces relationships. And there's one thing that you really can't get out of when you start introducing relationships between characters, especially as they're being earnest with each other. And that is how they sort of create these gender roles for each other. In this episode, even with the title being this metaphor for how she is both the Ronin and the bride, and there's very much emphasis on the bride part of this story, we actually get to see Mizu as not just a woman who is being a very good male character, but as a woman who is also a very good female character. And I think it's interesting to see how, even though society seems to want to do it with gendered roles and gendered labelings of things, it seems to still create some of the best characters. It makes them truly transcendent. In fact, some of the best cases we've sort of taken for granted. Like, tell me, really, what is Batman without his father-son relationship with the Robins? Like, imagine that is not even a bit of his lore. What is Batman, what is Bruce Wayne without the father-son relationship with Alfred, his protector? Or without the Dark Knight femme fatale relationship between him and Catwoman? These are distinctly masculine relationships that are created with Bruce Wayne, Batman, being at the center. And so, while watching Blue Eye Samurai, I had to come to terms with the fact that actually strong female character needs female to be a strong point. Otherwise, they're not really a strong female character. They could be a great character, but not really a strong female character. Like when you take Vi from Arcane, the sisterhood relationship with Jinx makes her a uniquely female character. Jinx's relationship with Silco is completely different if Jinx is a boy. Like, you can probably picture this. Or you take a character like Joel from The Last of Us. What makes this character transcendent isn't the fact that he's a badass male character who is a survivor of a zombie apocalypse. No, there's quite a few characters like that. His relationship with are the moments where his father-daughter relationship with Ellie helps him regain his humanity. I don't know what to say. I'd love to hear your comments on this. I wonder if I'm looking too much into this, but I think that gendered aspects of characters do actually make them transcendent. There's something that cuts deep about seeing someone have experiences, both struggles and triumphs, that not only you maybe can't possibly relate to personally, only because you don't share a gender with them, which is interesting. You know, most of the male fans with characters like Sarah Connor will never be mothers, and yet her mother-son relationship with John Connor in Terminator series is exactly what makes her one of the best characters ever written. And that's exactly what happens in the Ronin and the Bride episode, where we see that this part of revenge wasn't just unwavering and filled with demon-like possession from the start. And not just because of the things that happened to her as a child, which would be a weaker story, because even though the revenge was heavy on her mind, she did actually grow up in quite a loving relationship with her sword father. I'm not saying that kind of relationship would wipe away all the trauma that she had been forced to experience, but it definitely would have made her softer. And so seeing that there is an added trauma that happened to her as an adult, and that happens so brutally, makes this character even more iconic. In this episode, she finds out that her mother didn't die, she actually escaped. And we find that, I think this is spoiler territory, by the way. We see how she accepts that she can try to be happy, if not at first for her mother and then eventually for herself, in an arranged marriage of all things. We get to see her go through a feminine experience in this world, one that Akemi is also going to go through in this story. And for some reason, it legitimizes the character even more, and shows us that early on she had, of course, reasonably given up on her warpath of revenge and had traded it for the chance for love and for a traditionally happy life. And in certain cases, she even cares about her femininity. She starts to doll herself up. She cares about the quality of her cooking for her new husband and for her mother. And while much like every other thing, she just wants to become a master at it because she's a woman, that would be a truly sexist situation. She still manages to clearly enjoy and create value for the relationship. She's easily more at home working on the farm with her new husband. She really tries, and at first it works. We get to see that the character we've been watching for most of this show wasn't one that was just so psychologically damaged as a child that she just decides to go on this war path. But something worse must have happened along the road, something that we are definitely about to see. A betrayal so bad that it actually hurts watching it and completely justifies her abandonment of her femininity and eventually her humanity, as her attachment to people and any ideas of a traditionally happy life are ripped away from her by the very people that she tried to love. And at that point, that completely formed her description. At that point, I could no longer hold back the praise that Mizu, along with Akemi and Madam Kaji in the story called Blue Eye Samurai in 2023, are not just great, strong characters, but actually iconic female characters as well. My name is Oseremen, this is Cards and Reels, and I'll see you very soon. Peace.